Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvine. Today we're talking all about showing your brain the abundance that you want. In the neurocoaching model, we call that abundance priming. Your brain does not know the difference between what is experienced in your everyday life, because that comes from your subconscious creation, and what you really want to have happen. Why is this important? Because most of us walk around responding to what is happening to us, which was created in your subconscious to begin with, versus creating the pathway in your brain that will lead to the success that you want. So that's what we're talking about today, all about abundance priming, how to build that neural network pathway in your brain that will allow success to come to you easily, effortlessly, and a heck of a lot more fun than working harder. All right, here we go. I want to know if you are like an entrepreneur, a business person who is trying to have abundance in your business, trying to have abundance in your personal life, in your finances, in your joy, in your happiness. And it works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. And that inconsistency is driving you nuts, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get abundance into my life? How do I do this? How do I open those floodgates? Well, I want to talk about your brain and how that's all connecting, and how some of the things that you might be doing are actually blocking abundance from flowing into your life and into your business. And I want that to change for you. So I want to talk about that today. I have been talking about abundance in the brain and hardwiring that. And we are going to jump through that because it's vital to build the neural networks of abundance, which it can completely be done. We've seen that and proven that with neuroscience. We have to start to remove some of the neural pathways that are blocking that from coming into your existence. I know as an entrepreneur, you're driven, you're wanting to see your mission and your vision come to pass, you're wanting to get it out there, but it's like this kind of stop and start. Like you see some evidence of abundance and success, and then something happens and you retract or you pull back, and then things don't seem to go your way. And then that is, looking like not abundance. So if we don't know each other, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvine, and I help entrepreneurs train their thinking, train their brain to have the life and business that they love, to remove the limiting beliefs that have been holding them back through a process, a brain-based process, and to finally start to just really embrace training your brain for the success that you want. We're going to talk all things abundance, but I can't, in good consciousness and good practice, dive into hardwiring the abundance side of things without talking about the 3 blocks that I see getting in the way all the time that you have complete control to remove. So I'm going to go through them pretty quick today. And of course, at the end, we'll challenge with something that you can do today to start to unwire these blocks that are really the cause of the stop and start type of thing. I would love to know that situation that I described, that I get abundance and it flows, and then something happens and then it feels blocked. It feels like kind of a tug of war, or a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward, 1 back. I would love to know if that's you. Like if you feel like you're doing all the things, you're saying all the mantras, you're doing all the things that you need to do, but it hasn't been a consistent thing where you constantly see abundance and sales in a consistently growing manner. So if you're like, no, I'm in abundance all the time, I don't need any help at all, that is great. That means you probably have done some brain training and have probably built the neural networks and that you need in order to have abundance flowing, and then also remove those that are holding you back. That's where I was, absolutely, in that, like, putting a Herculean effort in and seeing some results and feeling like it's going great, and then it used to be like where it would go backwards and it wouldn't, and then it would go forwards. And I remember feeling, just before I started learning the background in neuropsychology, before I finished my neuropsychology degree, that was when I started to really understand how we're wired, why that's the case, why that happens. Absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to block abundance. And here's the thing. It's not your fault. It's something that you've done unknowingly that is blocking that pathway. So if we think about the brain, right, you've got these freeways that take you where you need to go from a subconscious level. And those are programmed over and over again by what you're constantly telling and acting and experiencing and then stating as true because you're repeating it over and over and over again. My clients in the Epic Success Academy know all about this, and they know the mind matrix process for removing the limiting beliefs. We want to get this abundance flow open. We want to, even if it becomes like a 3 steps forward, 1 back, but just have this confidence that it is all working for me, that it is all coming my way. That is part of vision brain priming, something I do also with my clients inside the academy. But the 3 things that are blocking you right now, and you can be honest or not be honest, but I think the more honest you are about this and really admitting it, and that's when you can get these blocks start to unravel. And really these pathways go away one day at a time as you're choosing to not do these things anymore. So the first one of them, and I am as guilty as everybody, especially when I was bringing my business online, it's this whole concept of, I'll call it jealousy. I wish there was a better word for it. We need to come up with like an online entrepreneur word for it. It's not jealousy in the sense that we think of it, but it's jealousy in the sense of we're looking at what other people are getting, being on stage or getting to be on a certain podcast or getting to promote their things with certain people. And we feel I wish that was me. We feel gosh, if it was me, I would be so much further along. Why are they getting it and I'm not getting it? Why? And so I want to ask you, do you stay in that place of when you're looking at people that are doing well and they're out there, are you experiencing that? I wish it was me. And almost that twinge of, dare I say, I wish they didn't get that and I wish I did. So I'm just being real. I'm just being raw. I'm just, this is the beauty of me getting to do what I get to do. I get to be on the backside of people's driven entrepreneurs mindsets and the way they think. And that's the truth. If that's for you, if that's happened to you, even if it's happened once or twice, that is evidence that there is a scarcity thinking. And when I say scarcity, that's a word that's, again, being overused right now. Scarcity is just the idea that there is one big pot, and if somebody gets some of that pot, I don't get some. That is a really 4th grade way of saying it, but I hope that makes a lot of sense. That to me is a better definition than this esoteric, that's scarcity thinking. Scarcity or lack, or this idea that there is not enough, gets hardwired in us from really, really young. And it really is something that 98% of my high-performing, high-level clients have had to deal with. So you're not alone. Like my 6, 7, and 8-figure clients all had to deal with this and start to remove that network. So if you felt that feeling, if you felt that, oh, there she is again, up on a stage, why does she get that? I've been trying to get on that stage and I haven't been able to get on it. Or I wanted to be on that podcast. Why is she doing it again? If you felt that, then that is just, again, I will encourage you to not be judgmental of your subconscious program mind that you programmed as a child. Because if you, as an adult, programmed it, you wouldn't program it that way, right? That this is something that helped you cope on the playground, that helped you grow up and become a mature adult. In a way, it protected you because you would see what Susie was doing and you would say, well, do I want to do that or do I not? Or just all the things that you did growing up, and you coped with that idea of scarcity or lack. This idea, if they have the attention, I can't get it. Or if they're having success, that means there's less success available for me. Or Here is one that might ring a little bit more true. When you're saying things like, there's too much competition in this industry. I can't possibly get a stake in this because so-and-so has been here and she's crushing it, so there's not room for me. Anybody? Has anybody said that? Thought that? It's, that's the funny thing is we don't say these things out loud. We think them. But remember, we program our subconscious mind by the thoughts that we have over and over and over again. So this concept of there is a limited supply, and if someone else is having that supply, then I cannot have it, or it will take me longer. All of the above, Mickey says. Yeah. And, I'm raising my hand. I was totally there, especially, it's interesting, my offline business, that is that am I not enough thing. Those are the limiting beliefs that you've programmed since a child. And again, they block abundance. We need to get in and remove those limiting beliefs. Now, I can't teach you everything about the mind matrix process because that's what I do inside my programs. But what I can do is I can challenge you. And just as I challenged myself as I started to unwire this, is to just become aware. You've heard me say over and over again, become the creator of your thoughts. You can create the thoughts that create your destiny, to create your business, create your reality. So if you're that person and you're choosing to be that person that creates their own reality by your thoughts create your emotions, not the other way around. Those combine to become a story. You had a thought, why is she doing this? You had a thought, they're getting this, and I'm not. Then you made a belief. Why are they better than me? And then from that belief, repeated over time becomes, well, I just can't do this. I might as well give up. Right? And that is where that is coming from, this place of there is not enough to go around. There is a limited supply, right? And the reality is there is not a limited supply. There is not a limited supply. And so if I told you these are the things to hardwire into your mind and you don't go and remove the things that are holding you back, you've heard me say 80 to 90% of your daily actions and decisions are going to come from that subconscious pre-programmed mind. Let's get rid of that pre-programming, because the worst thing you want to do is program an abundant mindset, but yet have 80 to 90% of your conscious decisions and actions still being run by a limiting belief that there's not enough, that if they have it, you can't, that there's too much competition, that must mean that you're not good enough. Okay. So again, very passionate about this for you entrepreneurs. Remember, my big vision is to have 1 million of you entrepreneurs through the process that I teach be able to remove these limiting beliefs that have been the brakes, that have been like the reins holding you back, and to vision prime, to prime your brain, to create success neural pathways in your brain that take you right to where you want to go, because it's all in there. All these things that you put that were created when you were a child, these limiting beliefs, these stories about jealousy, I'm not enough, I don't have what it takes, all those things, they're like wet blankets that have been laid on top of the truth of who you are. You have all that you need to remove the limiting beliefs that are holding you back and building that success pathway. But that leads me to my, second one is more the comparison thing, that those two things tie together. If you find yourself, comparison is just like the flip side, how a quarter has a heads and a tails. The heads is the jealousy. It's the looking at them. Why do they have it and I don't? Thinking that there's not enough, thinking there's too much competition, thinking that that's proof that I can't have it. And then the flip side is really comparison. I'm comparing myself to this person. And here's the thing that just gives you more evidence of this like limited idea of thinking, which again, you can't create an abundant mindset when you still have neural networks that are programmed saying there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough, right? So if we're comparing ourselves, rarely do we compare ourselves to somebody who started their business at the exact same week we did, right? We're comparing ourselves to somebody who started 5 years, 6 years, 7 years ahead of us, and they're getting more recognition and more exposure and more social media following. And we're comparing ourselves with them and somehow making a judgment that we're not enough, that we don't have what it takes, that we're not far enough along, that all the things, right? So just think of it's a coin, right? And that coin is the limited belief of not enoughness, not enough supply, not enough, money to go around, not enough happiness to go around, not enough love to go around. Abundance talks about all of these things, right? So because we're entrepreneurs, we talk a lot about our business and our business growth and money, because money means impact and all of those things. And that's when we tend to judge and compare. But I guarantee you that pre-programmed survival instinct is showing up in other areas of your life. When you see somebody happy and you're not, right? Or when you are, seeing, it's an either or, right? Somebody can't be happy and you can't be happy too. So look for those areas that it's popping up. And just in the action today of being aware that coin is the coin that you need to get rid of, that's actually blocking. You cannot create abundance with that still being present in your subconscious thinking. And so you can try to affirm, you can try to do mantras until your face turns blue. But the reality is, until you start to truly believe that there is an unlimited supply of finances, there's an unlimited supply of exposure, there's an unlimited supply of ability to have social media following, there's an unlimited supply, then you can start to really lean in and build that abundance neural network. But today, I really want you to go through and start to just become aware of when that thought process comes up. And it can be in smallest of things, but when you're saying to yourself, because they have it, I can't have it. Because they're there, I'm not enough. Because they've gotten this thing, that means I can't possibly do it. All of those things are evidence of that limited, constrained, not enough. It's all got to fit in a pot. And if it doesn't fit in that pot, then I can't have it, right? And if she has it, then that's a portion that's coming out from me. So this isn't the sexy stuff to talk about, y'all. This is not the sexy stuff to talk about. But if you want breakthrough, if you really want abundance, if you really want transformation, this is where the work is. This is where, just in the act of becoming aware that this exists and it's programmed, and just looking as you're going through your day of evidence of it popping up, and then just recognizing for what it is. It's a lie. So recognizing it, that's not true. And then continuing on. There's a deeper work you can do from there, but that is the starting point, or the entry gate to starting to unravel that abundant block, so to speak. How do you deal with it when you're trying to do work on that, but your spouse is in the same place? Oh goodness. We all wish we could just like wave the magic wand and say, no, you look, this stuff works. Look, this stuff works. Here's the God honest truth. You can only change your subconscious. You can only build a vision, success pathway in your brain. You cannot build it in your husband's brain. You cannot remove them from your husband's brain. The best, if you really, and I've been there, my husband and I talk about this all the time. We've been there at different times in our marriage. But here's the thing. The best way to do what you're wanting to do is by fully 100% burn the bridge, fully commit to stepping into the future version of yourself and taking unwavering action toward that every single day. And as you continue to do that, you build that success pathway. As you continue to do the mind matrix work and remove those beliefs that are holding you back, as you start becoming that person that has what you want to have, then that's when husbands or spouses or friends or whoever it is we think are holding us back start to go, okay. And they start watching. They're always watching. Our kids are watching. Our spouses are watching. Our friends are watching. If we try to no, this is the process. And, every once in a while, somebody will say, I shared the process with my husband. One of my students or clients will say that, I'm sharing it with my husband and he's going through it and he's making shifts and transformations. I get so excited for that, for them. But in reality, they still have to do the work themselves. They still have to want to do it. And I can't coach anybody who doesn't want to do this work for themselves. I have a client of mine that was reaching out to me recently and saying, well, I needed you to do these things for me. And I pushed back and say, no. Like, all I can do is be the mirror and give you the tools. But in order for the transformation to happen, we have to take the steps individually. The best way to do what you want to do is to step into that best version of yourself without any bridges burning back. Now, I know the reality of that is, and I can hear it, is, but we share a bank account. How can we do that? You know, you do it step by step and you talk about it and you stay in open communication, but you communicate where you are and you keep taking those steps. Abundance doesn't have to start from spending money. Abundance starts with the way you think about who you are and how you show up in the world. And as that gets built, more and more comes to you. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, you're going to hear it doesn't work. It isn't hard. It doesn't have to be hard. Remember, everything that we're telling ourselves is a story that's going to keep us in lack or it's going to keep us in abundance. So what if it's not, I'm not going to say it's easy to hear them, but what if, we call it brain bridging. So instead of saying it's hard, let's say, I wish it wasn't that way for him, but I'm going to keep moving forward. So again, for you, even in that thinking, I want you to rewire it's hard to be living and hearing that. So you need maybe some kind of mantra that every time you hear it, every time that it comes up, then you, instead of giving up or instead of getting frustrated or instead of taking that emotion on, we have complete control over our thoughts. We think a different thought about him. Maybe if you're a God girl, you pray for him to have that breakthrough in that moment. Instead of feeling frustration toward it, you use that as a pivot for prayer. Or you know, there's a million things you can do to shift your thinking about his scarcity, and then just let him watch you. And that's what it is. It's a process of removing these limiting beliefs, right? And building these neural networks in your brain so that it comes to you so easily. All right. So I'm going to leave you on this note. And this is the other block that you have total control over. And it ties into the comparison thing in a way. And it's this, it's the idea of consistency. Okay. So we want abundance, but we don't want to always do the things that create the abundance for other people. And then we see what they have, and then we're comparing, and then we're jealous, and then we make it mean we're not enough, and then we give up. So do you see how that cycle works? The reality is abundance comes, the consistent commitment and unwavering faith that it's going to happen, and just an extraordinary effort toward that goal, burning the bridge, like I said to Mickey, that there is any other option, and stepping fully into the faith and belief that it is already done and you're just walking to it, no matter the goal, no matter the vision, and coming from that place. And again, we'll talk about the steps to build into your brain on abundance that lead to more abundance, which leads to more abundance, which leads to more abundance. It's a layering effect. The removing of the beliefs like these blocks, it's a disintegrating. We call it pruning or synaptic pruning, but it's the disappearing one day at a time of a network that doesn't serve you anymore. But consistency is the beautiful golden key that unlocks this abundance. It's not just showing up for 3 weeks in a launch, trying to do the very best you can, having it not go the way you want to, and saying, see, it doesn't work, I'll never be abundant, and then walking away. It's the idea that it seriously is the golden key to abundance. It's once you start to remove the idea that there's any limitations, that there's any lack of supply, that there's anything but abundant flow constantly going in and out and through and in and out and through and back to you again. And you can actually start to celebrate other people's victories, because that means it's possible for you. That's evidence that it's possible for you, not something that shows you you're not enough, but it's actually the opposite. Isn't it funny? It's like the counterfeit is what these limiting beliefs are. And we remove the jealousy. And all we do is we do that consistently. One decision, one thought at a time. So consistency, being consistently committed to abundance and trusting the process that it will work out as you apply it constantly, and not doing it for 3 weeks and letting it go, having it be who you are. And the only way something becomes who you are is through that consistent daily action and unwavering faith. So consistency is key, and it honestly is the key that unlocks the abundance that you're looking for, and also helps you to program your mind and your brain to have a success pathway going in your brain. That's why you see so many very abundant people saying it's coming to them so easily, so effortlessly. And you probably have had that moment where when they've said that, you've gotten jealous and you've compared. That's because they've unlocked that key using consistency, unwavering faith, really diving into not having any other option other than knowing it's going to happen. And we've removed those things that are holding us back, like comparison, like seeing that there's a limited supply of clients, of sales, of followers, of whatever it is for you. So I want to see you just become aware of this today. Become aware of this in your thinking as you're online, as you're doing your business today, as you're with your family today. Be aware that these are the blocks, and these blocks do not serve you. They are hindering you from the abundance that you want. And if I know you, this abundance you want because you have a big mission, a big vision, a big calling in the world, and you want so much to see this happen so that you can impact and transform and help so many people. And that feeling of constriction, or it's not happening and it's why not, and I have this great thing, is part of what's blocking it. And we've got to get in there and just become really aware of that thinking, but always be aware and just take those thoughts off autopilot and become the person that says, I'm consistent. I'm committed. If I want abundance, I can't give you, I joke around about this blue pill. I can't give you a blue pill that you take one day and the next day it's like rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine, and abundance is just flowing down on you. But I can tell you all that is actually happening. And the only reason why you're not experiencing it is because of the things that you have not been aware of that are blocking you. So going after those things that are blocking you is opening the door with that key to abundance. And then of course there are things you can do to prime abundance into your brain. Being on the other side of it, I would not trade the process, because it's made me who I am today. And I wouldn't, now looking back, I know this sounds funny, but I wouldn't take that blue pill now, given the option, because what I became in the process, I'm so proud of. And that happened through that consistency, through that movement. Have a great day. And remember, you're the creator of your thoughts. So go create the thoughts that are going to serve abundance in your life and your business. Okay. See you soon. Bye. All right. That was a wrap on abundance priming. I would really love to know in the socials what it is that you are going to prime in terms of abundance. What is it that you want to see in your life? What abundant thing do you want to see come to pass? You need to start sharing that with your brain. And one great way to do that is to go out on socials and declare it. So please do that, whether on Instagram or Facebook. Tag me. I want to see you training your brain so you can transform your life and your business. And it starts with abundance priming. It's been a blast being with you today. Thank you for being a regular listener on the Epic Success Podcast. I cannot wait to see you until next week. We'll see you then. Bye.